Time now to a story that has gone viral. A local author spent a year writing her 22nd novel. The title, In Nightfall. Suzanne Young writes fiction, particularly for teens and young adults, and has even been a New York Times best-selling author. She's legit. As a veteran author, she has had plenty of book signings over the years and was very excited for her most recent one to promote the new book. But then something happened. Take a look at this picture. Empty chairs. No one showed up. Devastated, Suzanne tweeted out the picture of the empty room at the bookstore with the caption, "If you ever want to see a career low point, this is it. Crying my entire way home." As you can imagine, that tweet got a lot of attention, and Suzanne quickly learned that she was not alone in having this experience in the literary world. So joining us to talk about it is Suzanne herself, who I had the pleasure of talking to a couple of years ago about your work, your writing projects, your teaching writing. You are a school teacher, or at least have been through the course of the many years, but your writing has really taken off. Suzanne, this was such a bizarre situation because you are not new. You've had loads of success over the years. So talk me through what in the world went wrong and what can we all learn from it?
I wish I knew what exactly went wrong. It was just it was a disappointing moment, and it's great to write a book, and you spend the time writing a book and you're so excited to launch it. And we got there. I had brought my son. I had brought little gifts for the readers. But unfortunately, when I got there, all the chairs were empty. That's when I snapped that picture. A little while later, another local author did come in, and a local professor. So that was nice. And the bookstore itself was very kind and asked questions, even though it was just us. I think ultimately what maybe happened is, social media, if you don't kind of pay for that algorithm, your posts maybe aren't seen. I know a lot of people didn't know it was happening. But yeah, it was a devastating moment.
Oh my gosh, it must have been, and I am so sorry that you experienced that. But you have such a big fan base, and you have a local IRL, reading base, because you have taught teens over the years, and they are kind of like your beta readers, and they are your biggest fans. And I know that there are dozens of people who want to support you all the time, in person, in real life, on top of the thousands of people who want to read and purchase your books. So I guess it is just a wake-up call that those connections have to happen kind of in person, not just like a post on the gram, because we're all busy and things get lost in the shuffle, right?
Absolutely. And I think one of the pieces of advice I had gotten was things have changed. And if I could do it again, or hopefully I do it again, I will have both an online event where people can purchase signed books and an in-person event. And I think, not everyone wants to go out or has the ability to go out to a book signing. So, varying the way that I connect with readers is definitely something I learned. But of course, the biggest thing I learned was that I was far from alone in having experienced this, not just with other writers, but pretty much anyone that has ever presented in front of an audience has reached out and said the same thing happened to them. And that really, it made me feel not so alone. Number one, I'm sorry that that's happened to all of us, but it seemed to really touch on a shared experience that we all had.
Well, and I think it probably lends itself to why you're such a great writer, is because you're in touch with reality and emotion, even as you're writing fiction, and the willingness to share disappointment from yourself reminds you of how interconnected we all are, because we've all gone through those moments where we're like, oh my gosh, that didn't go any way how I expected it to. And so let's all kind of be mindful of when someone's taking a leap of faith, and how we could be supportive of their talent and their success, and also, just the bravery it takes to put yourself out there and create art and put it in the world.
Thank you so much. To be honest, I was probably going to delete that tweet when I woke up in the morning, but I had gotten such a response from writers and such overwhelming kindness that I didn't know still existed on the internet, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it was just overwhelming. And I'm here to support other authors now. Go to events where you can, buy books where you can.
Yes.
I definitely want to pass on this good favor.
No doubt about it. Suzanne, unfortunately, we're out of time, but real quickly, give us again the name of the book so that we can all buy it and make up for this little ripple of disappointment. And I just want to say we're so happy that you shared this. And how many people responded to that tweet?
I think it had 8 million views. So
is that all?
Wild.
if all of those people buy one book, everything's going to be all good, right?
The book is called In Nightfall, and those that like fun paranormal mysteries, the publisher bills it as The Lost Boys meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So some fun for the summer.
Sold. In Nightfall by Suzanne Young. Thank you so much, Suzanne.
Thank you.
I'll be there in person next time.
I love it.
Stretch out in a couple.